Hi, I'm Tom Chittum. This is June 22nd, 2022, and I'm broadcasting as usual from Puerto Rico. And the name of today's rant, if I can get it up here, is Operation Bagration. In late June 1944, the Russian High Command ordered a massive attack against the German Army Group Center. Army Group Center, as the name suggests, was a central front directed against Moscow. German Army Group North was principally directed against Leningrad, and German Army Group South against Stalingrad and the oil fields of the Caucasus, where it had been crushed and humiliated in early 1943. How does that apply today? Well, Operation Bagration is considered the greatest rout in Western military history, with around 450,000 German casualties. I say again, 450,000 German casualties, while another 300,000 Germans were cut off in the Kurland pocket. The Russians weren't stopped by the Germans at all, and Operation Bagration was finally ended on August 4th, 1944, only because fuel and ammo stockpiles set aside for this operation were consumed chasing the Germans across the steppe. The Germans could not stop the Russians at all and had zero options but to hoof it or be slaughtered. Entire German divisions simply disappeared completely, with only vague guesses as to where they made their last stand. I read accounts by Germans of this rout, and long and chaotic columns of retreating Germans on roads were routinely cut to shreds by Russian ground attack airplanes and pursuing Russian tanks. The only thing that saved the Germans time and time again were the rear guard fights by their panzers. Now, just for fun, guess what was the average distance per day of the Russian army? Think. Here it is. It was only about 6 miles per day. And by the way, that's damn good by military standards. Now it seems that the Russians are achieving a mini Operation Bagration against the Ukrainians in the Donbass. I would call an Operation Bagration, you kind of define it by saying that's where the cauldron effect is so awful that it gets transformed into the stampede effect, where they all just have to take off running for their lives, and there is little, if any, rearguard action. And oh, by the way, Bagration was a Russian prince who helped defeat Napoleon back when 1814 or wherever. So that's why they named this operation in his honor. As I mentioned in my video a few weeks ago, the Ukrainians have been driven out of their original trench bunker lines, which they had spent 8 years constructing and which had serious overhead cover against artillery attacks. Nowadays, they are digging new trenches further west, mostly without overhead cover, that are simply death traps when attacked by air-bursting artillery rounds. I mean, I've seen this with my own two eyes, and every Ukrainian gun who sees it is going to come to the same conclusion that it's a death trap. One Ukrainian unit complained about 1 potato per day for food. 1 potato per day for food, that was a ration. And there are constant shortages of ammo and heavy weapons and even drinking water. Yeah, even drinking water. If they had rangers, there would probably be shortages of air. Officers are fleeing and abandoning their men, who are shrinking mostly in small groups of platoon size or smaller. It's just one video after another on YouTube. The Russian mode of attack so far is sort of like a meat slicer. Every slice weakens the Ukrainians, and therefore the next slice is easier and bigger. And now the slices have gotten so big they're just chopping up whole sections of the line at one time. Nowadays, the damage by ever-increasing shelling is so severe that the Ukrainian lines are just disappearing off the map. Poof! Just like an Operation Bagration. That's the rout stage. Sometimes entire units are wiped out, or they just haul ass as fast as they can, including by stealing civilian cars and motorcycles, while other units surrender every last man led by their officers. It's an absolute rout, my friends. Now, I'm not trying to make myself out as some sort of unique guru concerning military matters. For about the past month, everybody who knew anything about the military knew that the days of the Ukrainian army and the Donbass were numbered, that there was no realistic hope of any sort of them defeating the Russians or being relieved, none whatsoever. The only thing that could save their ass, maybe, was a fighting retreat to the west, and that would only delay it because the Russians would be all their retreating columns like like ground attack aircraft on retreating Germans. Okay. Everybody knew the Ukrainians were being intentionally slaughtered for nothing, including their officers. If the Ukrainian officers do not rebel and hang this Zelensky Mussolini style, they are cowards and traitors. So I'm calling for a rout and the overthrow of this Zelensky very damn soon, within the next 30 days. Hell, what the hell, within the next 2 weeks, whatever. This video was completed on June the 23rd, and this is a good time as any to call a rout. Okay, I'll see you in the next video if I can stop this thing. Come on. Okay, bye-bye.